Hello and special shout out to all my American Horror Story historians. My name is EJ and welcome to my channel. We have quite the video ahead of us today. We are back in the world of American Horror Story Delicate. Part 2 has finally premiered, so we are diving into episode 6 called Opening Night. My goodness, I'm so happy to be back in the AHS world, especially with Delicate. I kind of grew to enjoy this season. I rewatched some of it coming back into this, so I wasn't completely lost. I was still like, oh yeah, that person's a character. Like that one girl who like owns the house in the Hamptons that they're staying at. I'm like, oh yeah, those are her security cameras in the basement. Like, completely forgot about that through this break. But overall, I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy that this episode was just as strong. It's kind of kept up the momentum. I do think in my head I had this was a mid-season premiere, so I expected this really outlandish, crazy, over-the-top episode. And it was pretty good, but it wasn't that exactly, what I had cooked up in my head. This didn't end up being that. But I will say, even the preview for next week, we're back into it, and we're not really pausing to kind of get readjusted. We're back into the action. Everything's going on. If you missed what happened last episode, well, baby, they are recapping you slightly, but also thrusting you back in. Like, I was like, oh yeah, that girl got decapitated after winning the award. My goodness. So, yes, I liked this episode of Horror Story. I like this season already. Delicate has been something that I've grown accustomed to as it's gone. I've read the book during this break, so I've spent time with Delicate. I have now, like I said, grown accustomed to this world, the witchiness, but there's still complicated feelings where like, who is who do I trust? Those are the things that I'm like, we still have not answered any of those questions, but Anna's getting a little less passive. Kim K is still giving me, Siobhan's such a fun character. I enjoy everything she does in these episodes. Kim K is still giving me, I'm getting a little bit more answers. We get a little bit of a backstory with Anna, and like I said, next week seems to be a full backstory episode dealing with the OG wives and stuff. That could be really interesting. Overall, I'm happy that American Horror Story is back, and I'm happy to see Delicate hasn't lost its footing. It still feels like it did. It doesn't feel like the break really damaged anything other than people not knowing the episode is airing. Hopefully you see my review and recap and say, ooh, American Horror Story is back, and you're watching the show, you're watching my reviews, because it's been a great time. In this meantime, if you have not watched my videos, I did a review for a to-be original movie starring some Drag Race queens. Amazing. It's a From Dusk Till Dawn meets drag. It's great. I've also reviewed the show Feud, the Ryan Murphy production that also had Gus Van Sant directing it. It was the Capote versus the Swans. This is what you've missed on my channel since American Horror Story has aired, but I'm here for this. This is what I'm here for. This is what you guys tune in for. So we are done with this recap section. We know this episode was fine. I enjoyed it, but let's get into the whole nitty-gritty of it. Let's get into the details. Let's see the favorite parts, the least favorite parts, and why I think Kim K is my favorite witch in American Horror Story history. The episode begins and we are in White Plains in 1988. I had no idea the context of this opening. I'm like, oh, who's this like mom and dad struggling? It's like every parent's nightmare. The baby won't stop crying. And then, of course, the mother has a tragic accident where she passes away. And this dad, who is barely connected with his child, has to then raise the baby. Oh, ooh, ooh. As a fresh parent, I'm a step parent to a 6-year-old. I understand so much of these little moments. I understand this show a lot more being a parent. I really think me watching this show like 5 to 6 years ago would have been a much different experience. I think this season is hitting me much differently, and I think most parents would maybe probably agree with me that this is hitting on a lot of parenting stuff, a lot of the career or family. It's a struggle. I thankfully am in a wonderful relationship where my career and my family can both thrive, but that's not the story for Anna, and that's not been her story since birth, because my goodness, we find out this cold open is Anna's origin story. The most crazy part of this, other than when they're like Mr. Alcott, I was like, oh, this is Anna's dad. Whoa, she's had a rough life, which Kim K brings up, like, your mom didn't die for nothing. I'm like, my God, Kim K, she just drags everybody. She is reading the girls all goddamn season. But the most intriguing part of this intro is Nicolette showing up and being the nurse. She's been around Anna since birth. The way Nicolette and Anna are interacting now, it does not feel like that, but whoa, we spent a lot of time with Nicolette, Michaela J's character in this episode, but that was a revelation I did not expect, and now I want to know, what does that mean? Have they always been picking Anna as this harbinger for this baby? What is the reason for Anna? There's a lot, but this Michaela J opening with Nicolette just showing up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it kicks off the episode in quite a deliciously good way. Now, after the cold open, we are thrust right back into where we were when last episode ended. Babette, whatever her name is, has gone. The Golden Globes over. It's now Anna's time, and Anna's having to deal with the ramifications of what she possibly conjured up into the universe. She doesn't feel great about it, but she's still dealing with the witchiness of her house. There's like a black cat roaming around. The dolls are still showing up. She's putting the dolls in a thing and it's making a pentagram. What is going on? The witchiness is still witching, and I'm like still not getting answers. But we do spend a lot of time with Nicolette and Anna just bonding. Nicolette still being the weird, mysterious character she is. She's mean to Anna at times. Well, I would say she's stern with Anna. She doesn't seem to be outright just bitchy to her, like the chick with the bob and Ivy and even, Siobhan could be at times. I think Nicolette wants to be there to help, but I'm very confused with the witchiness and who's on whose side, because it seems like we have the Hamptons witches. We have Ivy, we have the one girl who I said owns the house, she has the beautiful hair, we have the girl with the bob, and then we have Nicolette. These seems to be like the Hampton witches is what I'm labeling them, and then we have like the Hollywood witches, which is the Ashleys and Siobhan. So what's going on? Who are they all fighting for this womb? Like, to quote 10 Things I Hate About You, like, what's up with Anna? Does she have beer flavored nipples? Why is she the chosen one? But we're seeing her still deal with the pregnancy, still try to figure out her thing. And then we cut to Dex. Let me get everything Dex related out of the way. We meet his dad. His dad's a piece of shit. Surprising, because Dex is bland. Him and Anna are kind of reconnecting a little bit. But the end of this episode has a major shock where Dex's mom off herself, and I'm like, oh, it had to be the dad's macking. She was trying to sue him and expose him for doing all the weird Satan-y stuff. Of course, she was not going to be able to do that, so this is the ending, and I'm like, wow, I don't care about Dex. I am so sorry. I know if you guys are Dex super fans and really wanted me to dive into his bad dad and his dead mom, I don't care. This is Dex's story for the episode. Yay, let's move on to Kim K, the director, and a crazy art gallery segment. We've learned one thing in this season, and it's to not mess with Kim K's Siobhan character, because the director starts saying, you know what, I am tired of being a fraud, this was not my artwork, you have just given this to me and I did not earn this. And she says, baby, no one's earned anything in Hollywood, you're a mediocre white man. You're going to, of course, suck up everyone's talent and use it for your own, just accept your place. And I'm like, Siobhan, girl, read him, drag him. And he's like, I'm going to go to the media. And she says, will you? Because he's dead. Apparent suicide. And I'm like, oh, what? We are killing off the director. Girl, by the time the Oscars roll around, it's going to be like Anna and like the craft service people. There's going to be no one left on this goddamn production because everyone keeps dying around her. Whoa. So Siobhan ends up having to go to the Hamptons to go to an art gallery showing that Dexter and his protege, woman who looks just like his ex-wife, whatever she's been working on, Anna shows up. Anna's been, again, dealing with cats scratching her in the face, the little thing on her thing. She keeps running into that weird dead lady in the bathroom. Is the weird dead lady part of the Hamptons witch cult too? What is going on with her? Oh my goodness. But yes, Anna is just not having a good time at the party. She goes up to that one girl. This is where Anna's starting to lose that, I'm so sorry and I'm just a pregnant mom. She was just like, bitch, I know you're doing something. Why'd you put the cameras in my house? And the other lady's like brushing her off like, bitch, you're not even the star that you think you are. Ooh. The shade being thrown here, but we're also seeing that weird moment where all the witches surround Anna, and it seems that they're doing a spell on her. Oh, like there's that moment where the woman touches her back, but then she also sees like the dolls have been kind of like voodoo dolls with even a cut on her lower back. What does it all mean? There was that scene earlier where the baby clawed out of the stomach, but then she had the marks. Oh, is it all just craziness? Is she hallucinating all of this? That's the only major complaint I have, is like the delay, showing me the difference between the dream sequences or the reality and what's just being trippy weirdness. I don't really know. I think there's not a clear cut, and I really needed that because it's still getting like what's happening, who's real, what's going on. But Anna ends up having to move away from the witches. It's all just in her head. Siobhan shows up and oh my goodness, girl, Anna threatens to quit the war campaign. Kim K slaps the hell out of her. That was Kim K slapping Emma Roberts. That was not Siobhan slapping Anna. Kim K slapped the hell out of that woman. And I said, ooh, but she said, truly, you're not going to quit. Be better. Look, your director's dead. You have to do this. You're SAG nominated. My goodness, when Anna did that, she showed up to Babette's funeral and did the speech. And when those girls were like, she has the SAG vote for me. Well, she has the Oscar votes. As a Critics' Choice Awards voter, that shit works for people. People hear a speech, there's a sympathy campaign around it, and people will vote for those. It's not fair. It's not how it should go, but that's what happens, and I love that moment. But yes, Kim K is just like, girl, you need to go along this path. What are you doing? Wisen up. And I'm like, ooh, Kim K's right. Like, it's this weird thing where, like, Anna really says I can only have one or the other. I hope by the end of this, she realizes she can have her weird possible demon baby and she can have her Oscar. You can do both. Women are allowed to do both. We're seeing it all the time. Why is the show still telling me that it's an issue? I don't know, but it's a decent ending. Oh yeah, and then, Dex actually closes the ending with his mom, but I already talked about that. I don't care about him. All right, everyone, that is it for my review of American Horror Story Delicate, Episode 6. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of my review? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys all for subscribing. It means the absolute world to me. My American Horror Story historians, you guys are amazing. We've been here for a long time. I've started in Apocalypse, reviewing this like weekly. We've been here. We've been through some stuff, and we're back with Delicate. I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment right down below.